Once Alex finally released her from the treatment room, Jaime was going to be dumped by the only person who had believed she could become a star. She sighed and tapped her fingers along her thighs. Saving the best for last, Martinez? She wasn't one for delaying the inevitable. Her philosophy on bad news was the same as it was for everything else. Dive in head first. Something like that, he muttered with a roll of athletic tape between his teeth. You know, they say delayed gratification can lead to... Don't even finish that sentence. He sprayed Alyssa's knee with iodine before taping a gauze pad on top. Her teammate hissed so loudly from the cold sting that Jaime felt her pain across the room. The man had an endless repertoire of ways to torture them. Acute injuries get treated first. She knew that, and she had no intention of jumping the line. Hell, she didn't even want to be in the damn line in the first place. Despite Alex's persistent belief to the contrary, her ankle was just fine, thank you very much. A little bit of pain and swelling was an inevitable part of being a professional athlete. Okay, maybe a lot of pain and swelling. She corrected herself as a sharp jolt exploded through to her shin. Still, it was all perfectly normal. She perched forward on her chair and rested her chin in her hands to watch Alex remove the ice pack from Joanna Nelson's ribs and inspect the bruise underneath. Almost done. Alex walked over to the small sink along the wall to wash his hands. You're up next, Chen. Relief washed over her. Maybe she'd fit everything in after all. Cramp! Mother effing cramp! Alyssa cried out, clutching her hamstring. Or maybe not. Jaime sighed as Alex whipped back around and massaged her teammate's spasming muscles. She glanced at the door and bit her lip. She really shouldn't postpone a checkup, but if she left now, she could at least shampoo her hair, maybe even swipe on a quick coat of mascara. Otherwise, she wouldn't have the chance to shower until she was back at the hotel in Newark. She counted the steps to the door. She could make it before Alex knew she was gone. He would be furious if she snuck away. Then again, he was always in a bad mood. Her mind made up, she slipped out the door and bolted for the shower, knowing he was going to make her regret this decision later. Jaime's entire body hummed with energy as she stepped out of the cab. Life as a professional soccer player gave her lots of opportunity to travel, but she rarely saw the outside of the stadiums and three-star hotel rooms. Games on the East Coast were tightly bundled into long road trips in order to save on flight costs, and as much as she loved being with her teammates, the endless hours on the bus and excessive togetherness started to wear on her after a while. The latest road trip was the worst yet. The Falcons were only 2 games into a 6-game, 20-day trip. A few hours soaking up the big city was exactly what she needed to rejuvenate her before 2 more weeks of traveling up and down the coast. The restaurant that her agent, Jillian Nichols, had recommended looked exactly as she imagined a New York City bistro to be. Dozens of mismatched square tables squeezed into a thin slice of space, and servers with chic bow ties flitting about at the speed of light. Her agent was waiting for her in the far corner next to the floor-to-ceiling window. They greeted with a quick hug. Jaime sat down, laced her fingers on top of the table, and arched her brow. Finally had enough of working pro bono for me? She wanted to get the bad news out of the way. Afterward, they could at least enjoy a nice meal together without the pressure of disappointment weighing on them. Nah, charity cases are good for my reputation. Besides, I like the challenge. But first things first, I'm sorry I couldn't make the game today. However, you're going to like my excuse for not being there. Straight to business, as always. The woman who was barely older than Jaime's 25 years carried herself with a sophistication Jaime could never imagine attaining. But the one thing they had in common was their tenacity to go for what they wanted. Jillian was the only agent who even considered taking Jaime on as a client, and she fought ruthlessly for her, like it was a personal mission to prove all the other sports agents out there wrong. Let me guess, having to choose between rooting for me or for your city is like being forced to choose which of your